Don't get your hopes up too high. You starting a project with an old car, everybody wants to be an optimist. Woohoo! It's not always the best way to go. Optimism, it might be good. You know, if you're going out to eat and you're being optimistic that you're not going to be sitting on the toilet and having the shits for 3 days after you go out for Vietnamese food or wherever the hell you went out for supper last night. I mean, that kind of optimism, okay, you can live with that. But as far as these old cars and trucks and stuff go, yeah, try to avoid it. I mean, you might think that you're coming home with a trophy winning, you know, whatever the hell you just went and picked up, your little MG or your old 52 Chev or Christ, whatever you got, your 75 Oldsmobile, I don't give a shit what you got, whatever you got. You think you got a big trophy winning prized peach, but really what you just might have wound up with is you just might have wound up dragging home a nice big toilet. And it's probably got a crack in it somewhere. And once you hit that realization and you fall off of that ladder, you're just going to want to flush that big toilet. So if you don't start out way up here about it, well, it's easier to come up than it is to go down and bounce up again. And it hurts less too, because when you come down and bounce, that shit hurts, because then you got to try to go back up again. So just try to avoid that right off the bat. Come into it with a more level head than, woohoo, ooh, oh my God. Don't just cut it out. Don't be a little kid. Don't do that, because you're just setting yourself up. So just cut it out. So, yeah, you're best to keep a level head with stuff. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat here what makes me think about this and why I done this. This truck right, this is the 66. So this truck right here has been in the fella's family since it was new. His dad bought it on the farm. Where were they? I don't know, southern Saskatchewan, southern Alberta, something like that. Anyways, he knows the history of the truck his whole life. He got the truck and he's 13 years old. He's old now. So this truck has never been a pounded down the road truck, never been in the salt, never been in the snow. It's always been on the farm. It's been in the shed, it's been in the barn, it's been on the farm. This was in such better condition than any other truck out there as far as he's concerned. And I mean, to look at it, it looked pretty good. It had been painted. But once you clean everybody off, it's not as good as he thought it was. And like I say, what makes me think about this video is this fella's been here a few times. And just about every time that he comes in, he looks at it, looks at his truck in this state, and shakes his head and says to me, I'm sorry, I thought this was a way better truck than this. I thought this was going to be a way easier job for you than it is. This thing needs 3 times as much work as I thought it did. It needs 3 times as much work as I knew it did, because he knew how nice a truck was. He was wrong. He didn't know. A lot of times, you can't know. Think of this truck. Think of this as a nice, great, big, old hunk of chocolate cake. Oh, I'm going to fall down. Think of this truck as a big, old hunk of chocolate cake. You got a great, big, nice chocolate cake in front of you. You're sitting there with your fork. You got a bucket of ice cream ready to go with it. You dive into it. It's a bloody shoebox covered in chocolate icing. It ain't nice, moist chocolate cake. It's a big pile of shit. This truck's not a big pile of shit. But what I'm getting at is you don't know until you carve the icing off of it. You don't know what's underneath there. Like I said, this is a green truck. It was red when it brought here. So a shop kind of worked the thing over a little bit. He doesn't remember what the problems were. He thought the thing was awesome. You want to know how awesome it is? This truck is awesome enough that he's brought me all this sheet metal. There's a pair of rocker panels, because it needs 2 rocker panels. There's a pair of cab corners, because it needs 2 cab corners. There's 4 floor supports, because they're rotten as hell underneath. That little triangle thing, that's a toe kick that goes down there. Why does it need that? Well, look at that. One of the problems, as you can see by that lovely floor, is this thing was covered in shag carpet. Shag carpet, number 1, it holds moisture. Number 2, you can't see what's underneath it. Can you see the little ray of sunshine poking through the hole over there? Well, there's an inner fender on the other side of that, so you can't see that. So when you're looking at a vehicle that you want to buy because you found your dream car, your dream truck, or whatever, now this thing, that's a nice rocker panel, yeah? It's got a little problem here, a little problem there. When I first looked at this thing and it was covered in red paint, that was like a couple little bubbles in the paint. So you don't really know, is that paint lifting? Is it bad bodywork just festering up a little bit? Well, no, it's not. It's a hole. This stuff in here, well, that's holes, and they were covered by a weather strip. However, when you look at it, so when this is all red, it's quite a nice truck, right? Look at that rocker panel. Son of a bitch. Look at that rocker panel. Son of a bitch. This, I mean, that's as far in as I can stick my little screwdriver. And that's just because I've been hollowing it out. But this rocker panel is packed solid from there to back there, I'll guarantee it. In fact, every time I move it, shit comes out of the little drain holes. So I can't say what the inside of that is going to be. You know what I'm saying to you? The dirt holds moisture. I can't tell them that in a year's time, that's not going to be full of rust bubbles coming from the inside out. Because it's probably going to. Nice clean cab corner, yeah? Oh, holy jumping jihad. See, but yet you got a box there and everything. He didn't even know that was like that. This thing is even rusty over there on the center hump. Why is it rusty there? I don't know. It's going to be easier to bring yourself up, once you're honest with yourself about the hunk of shit that you're trying to make into your dream car. That's easier to come up from than it is to start at the top thinking, holy hell, you got the nicest example of a 72 Dodge Charger that anybody's ever seen in their life. Or whatever you like. 68 Ford Galaxy Brougham. Don't care what it is. You think you got a beautiful car. It's amazing. Holy shit, this thing is awesome. You take it, somebody tears it apart. Somebody else pulls the body apart. Somebody pulls the interior out. Somebody pulls all the trim off. Somebody pulls the glass out. You pull the fenders off. You pull this off. You pull that off. You look at it. Oh, it's not that good anymore. There's somebody popping your balloons. Don't let people pop your balloons. Don't go in there with no balloons. Then you can fill balloons up as you go. Does that make any sense? I don't know, probably not. But like I said, every time this fella comes in, the conversation starts out going downhill, and then by the time he leaves, he feels better because, okay, well, we're going to get to it. We're going to do it. You know, it's going to happen. It'll be just as nice as he was hoping it was in the first place when it's done, but it's going to take more work to get there. It's going to take 3 times as much work to get there as he thought it was. You can see the old rooster behind me, the old rooster paint truck behind me back there. So that truck, I mean, it's a special order, special option, everything. It had to be that truck for them because it's a pink truck and it's father-daughter. She wanted a pink truck. So that truck, I mean, same gig. They started out with this remarkable truck. It wound up not being that remarkable. Like it wound up needing all the stuff anyways. One little hole here, well, you can't see the inside of it. So we put rockers, put cab corners in it, put a hunk in the floor. I mean, it had a bunch of bodywork that had to be done to it because the thing got hit by a freight train, I think, in one side. So, I mean, you're trading off 5 times the rust repair for a bunch of metal work. And then you still need 3 times the rust repair anyways because it's old. It's old. Everybody talks about, oh, I remember when it didn't cost that much to do this much work. You didn't have to go through all this to make the things nice. Like it sure takes a long time nowadays. Well, everything is goddamn 40 years older than it was from what you remember. These old hunks of shit have been sitting around for another 40 years. And the big problem with a lot of them is that they've already been warmed over once. Somebody's already fried them eggs. And now you got these crusty old fried eggs that somebody's going to try to revive again. Fried eggs? What the hell was that? But you know what I'm saying? A lot of shit's been hidden. This is a good example. This truck, it was red, and it come in, and I mean, on that side, the rocker's full of Bondo and stuff. By the time you clean the Bondo off, well, the Bondo's filling rust holes. Can you tell that when you're looking at it? No, it's pretty nice icing on there. Clean the icing off. It's not good cake under there. It's a rusty rocker panel with icing on it. Who the hell wants that? It'll still be okay in the long run. At the end of the day, at the end of the job, at the end of 6 months worth of cutting and welding and body working, it's still going to be wonderful. That's just my advice to you. It's easier to climb up a ladder than it is to lick your wounds after you fall off a ladder.